What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Believers Chapel Young Adults Podcast. My name is Kobe, and right next to me,
this is Kason. What's up, guys?
And so today we're going to be talking about the prodigal son. If you want to go ahead and give us a little summary of that.
Yeah, so I would encourage you guys to read it in your own time. We're not going to read through the whole thing because this isn't church.
Right. Luke chapter 15, right?
Luke chapter 15.
Yeah.
It's a story Jesus is telling about this son who in his foolishness decides to, instead of waiting for his inheritance, he asks his dad, like, hey, I just want to take the money and run.
Right.
And take the money and run. And what's up?
I said, who wouldn't want to do that?
Right. Who wouldn't want to do it? I think at times we all want to take the money and run. But, the idea was that the money that he was getting was supposed to be what would set him up for the rest of his life, right? Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be an inheritance that was given to him by his father. And so we kind of read this through a modern lens, and we would kind of look at it and be like, okay, so this guy didn't really want to like be in the family business, right? So like he cashed out, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not really the implication that's being made here. What Jesus is doing is he's kind of setting it up for the people listening, because these are first century Jews, right? So they're not 21st century, Western Americans. Mm-hmm. They lived in a very familial culture, so they would have seen this. And everybody listening to this story would have been like, this guy's terrible.
Right.
This guy is absolutely terrible. And so, we kind of read the Bible through this like somewhat sterilized mindset where, because we're looking back through, over 2,000 years of time. And so what people then would have thought was like unacceptable or bad behavior or wrong behavior, we kind of look at it and like, it's not that bad, mm-hmm. right? But people who were listening to this story would have said, this guy is the worst,
right?
And the picture that Jesus is painting is that this is to them an irredeemable person. So they're looking at it and they're saying, there's nothing good, there's nothing redeemable about him. But at the end of the story, what ends up happening is he takes his inheritance, he goes and he squanders it. He spends it on women, on food, on drink. He gambles it away, and so he finds himself laying with the pigs, right? Laying with the pigs, eating slop, and he has this epiphany where, like, man, the servants in my father's house, live better than this.
Yep.
Maybe I could just go back and be a servant in his house, mm-hmm. right? And so he decides to run home. And whenever he runs home, he finds his father, not just like, going about his day-to-day business, but his father standing there waiting for him, watching. Yeah. And then what does he do whenever his son starts on the road home? What does the father do?
Open arms.
And he runs to him,
mm-hmm.
right? He doesn't just passively like, okay, I guess you're back.
Yeah.
He like runs and embraces him. And
like, oh, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah, right. he puts him the best robe around him,
right? And
he orders them to like kill the fattened calf,
right? And put a ring on too, right?
Put a ring on him, like give him the family ring back,
right?
And so the behavior of the father, like people listening to this, they would have been like, that's crazy.
Yeah. That dude's way too nice, right?
Yeah. He is giving this dude way too much. And so like for us, as we read this story and we look at this parable and a lot of times people read the Bible kind of in a kind of an incorrect way, right? They try to read it and say, where am I at in the story?
Right. So you want to kind of break it down from the beginning a little bit? Let's go back.
Yeah.
So the son runs away with all the wealth and all the money, right?
Take the money and run.
So it's like, oh, I would never do something like that.
Right.
Or, oh, I've done way worse.
Yes.
But this case back in the biblical time that it was in, that was the worst of the worst, right?
It was a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible. It would have been like the equivalent thing for us would be like if you lived in a really safe home, like let's say your parent was like, let's say you weren't even like wealthy, but you were like middle class, your parents had good jobs and they provided for you. And you just decided that I would rather go live in a drug house. and get addicted and prostitute myself.
Right.
Like that's what's the modern day equivalency of what this dude actually did.
Right.
With his life.
Right.
Yeah.
So no matter what you did or how far you've gone from God, God is the father in the story.
Yes.
So no matter what you've done or what you think you're too far gone from God, right? You can always go back to the Father and he's willing to welcome you in.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no thing that you can do that's so far away from God that he won't say, come home.
Right. Obviously different sins and stuff have different consequences.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And largely those consequences are, I would say they're temporal. They're like, they happen now within time, right?
Exactly.
So like, if you go and do heroin,
you're gonna reap the consequences.
You're gonna get heroin. You know what I mean? Like, if you go and prostitute yourself out, there's a really good chance that you're gonna contract a sexually transmitted disease. Like, these are like, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, yeah.
And these are not necessarily like the punishments of God. They're just the consequences of really poor choices.
Correct. Yep. So he also loses everything, right? Yeah. He's got nothing. He's with the pigs. Back in that time, pigs were considered just unclean animals. Like they didn't even eat them, right? Did they?
No. Jews would not eat pigs.
Yeah.
Jews, no bacon.
No bacon.
It's a very, very, very sad time in history.
Yeah.
I love bacon.
Yeah. No burgers with the bacon on it. No, nothing.
No bacon burgers. But no, they wouldn't have eaten pork. It was considered unclean. And so like for him to be sleeping among, like here's let's take it a step further. They didn't eat pork. They wouldn't even like keep pork as livestock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So
that.
like non-Jews, Gentiles would do that.
Wow.
So like there's a story in the Bible, I think it's Luke 8, where Jesus cast demons out of this dude, and the demons reply to him and they say, "Can we, please don't send us off into the abyss. Can we just go inhabit those pigs over there?" And there's a guy with a herd of pigs, and they inhabit the pigs and they jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
That Jesus was in an area that was primarily not Jewish at that time. The area was called like the Gerasenes, or in some translations, the Gadarenes. But that was like Gentiles, right? That wasn't Jewish people. That wasn't the people of God. They wouldn't even kept pigs. So like this guy, it kind of gives you a picture into where he's at, because he's way far away from home, right? Because he's not among his people. Jesus is communicating primarily to Jewish people when he's talking about that. So the setting is, this is a good Jewish family. They're doing their thing. So he was very, very, very far from home, right? And he was in a place of like absolute uncleanness, right? So again, for us in our context, right? Like me, I grew up in primarily a Christian family, right? My parents, they didn't do everything right all the time, but they tried really hard to communicate the truth of Jesus to us. Right. So, I kind of picture myself in this, where it's like, man, this would be like me having taken everything my parents did and just kind of like thrown it back in their face, and like, I'm going to go and do what the world wants. I'm going to forget about Jesus, and I'm never gonna follow him again. Right. That's where this dude was at in his life.
And so back to the story. So he's in the pig pen, right? And he's eating pig slop. Yeah. Like he's so hungry, and there's a famine at the time.
Yeah. And the slop is significant because like, consider the fact that this was unclean animals. Yep. They were being kept by people who were somewhat considered unclean. So it's not even the unclean thing. It's the junk that you give the unclean thing. That's what this guy's leading.
It's passed down.
So whenever you're looking at the story of this dude, this young man, he is so in over his head. Right. Like he's sleeping with unclean things, these unclean animals, and eating stuff that, like, according to Jews, would have like defiled him. Right. Like made him unclean, right?
Right. So he's at his lowest point in his life.
This is as low as it gets.
Right. And it's sad, but sometimes that's what we need in order to get a realization like, shoot, I need God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he has to bring us to a low point so that we can realize, man, I got to run back to him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is that the prodigal son ends up running back to God. But my point is, I think a lot of us are in a situation where we're in a low point, right?
Yeah.
And we know what we have to do, but we don't execute on it.
Oh man.
How many times are you like, man, I can do better than this. Like, I know, like, I need to go on a diet. I've been eating too much, right? I can stop eating the donut, but
too much bacon,
Too much bacon. You can have bacon now. Like, are you going to stop? Like, you know you need to stop, but are you going to do it?
Right. And to put really even another layer on that, you know, we're this is a hot take. But you know, we believe in the power of prayer. Like I encounter people on a regular basis, and I pray for people to hit rock bottom.
Oh wow!
I pray that God will bring them to their lowest point.
Jeez,
because often that's the only place where change happens. Often it's the only place where people actually kind of reevaluate themselves and say, "I got to change something."
Right.
And if I don't, if they don't get to that place and I don't pray that way, then a lot of times people just end up apathetic,
right?
Which in some ways can be worse, right? We talked about this a little while ago. How you know there's a few different players in this story, but one of them is an older brother who watches his younger brother come home, and his father like puts the ring on his finger and gives him the family robe and you know, orders a feast and all this stuff. And there's an older brother who's like, you know, I've been here the whole time.
Right.
And
I never left.
Yeah, I never left. I never did anything wrong. But the thing that's crazy about the older brother in this is that the older brother, if he had the father's heart, would have been celebrating the younger brother coming home. Wow. So he had also lost the plot, maybe just in a different way. You know, he lost it, and he wasn't walking away or running away like the other brother was, but he was drifting away.
Come on. Both brothers drifting.
Both brothers are losing the father's heart.
Jeez.
So, you know, we can look at this and we can kind of see where we're at in this. And you know, a lot of times it's easy to identify the brother that hits rock bottom,
right?
But it's much harder to identify the brother who's got a hard heart because he's lost the father's heart.
Come on.
And is mad because his brother, who was far from God, is now coming home.
Right.
So if we as believers aren't celebrating when and it doesn't matter who it is or what situation they come from. If someone who's lost is coming home and we're not celebrating it, then we've lost the father's heart.
Yeah. You got a heart problem.
You got a heart problem.
Yep.
You know,
drifting is one of the devil's greatest tactics, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Being comfortable with where you are.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to be comfortable here in America, right? We're a very rich country, and it's easy to have more than we need.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that, you know, there's very few people in the United States who actually have less than they need.
Right.
Now, I think that there are a lot of people who think that they have less than they need, but that's mostly due to the fact that we live in such a oversaturated culture, commercially speaking.
Yep.
So what does that mean? Okay, that's kind of some jargon, right? What that means is like our culture is so inundated with stuff.
Yes.
Like everybody's got stuff, and we all think that we have to have the best stuff.
And we wonder why our credit card bills are so high, right?
Come on, that'll preach.
That's my credit score low.
That'll preach.
Yep.
We look at that and we say, man, why is our life this way? Well, it's because we're chasing after all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. We're chasing after all of these things, and we're going after it instead of appreciating what we already have.
Yep.
And so we're chasing after, just like the guy in the story, we're chasing after like money and sex and pleasure and all this stuff and possessions instead of chasing after the Father's heart. And so, in one degree, it's easy to look at the prodigal son and say, and judge him and say, man, he was going after all this stuff. But like, it's much harder to consider the brother who was there, who was comfortable at home.
Right.
And in my opinion, his heart's not any better than his brother.
Right. They both drifted.
They both drifted, but also he was comfortable just in a different way. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to go off and take my inheritance and squander it, but I'm doing really good here.
Right.
My dad's taking care of me. My dad's taking care of me.
Right.
I have food. I have shelter. I've got all the things. So
one of the greatest tricks that the devil does is he tricks us that we don't need God, right?
Ooh, yep.
We could be comfortable. We can have all that we need.
Yep.
But we'll still end up with voids in our life. Yep. And that's what that brother was showing there. His heart posture was that he had a void.
Yep.
And he was taking it out with jealousy.
Yeah, because in the story, he doesn't actually take joy in his family.
Yes.
He doesn't take joy in his father and the relationship that he has there, because if he did, then he wouldn't care whether or not his brother came back.
Right, exactly.
And if he took joy in his brother, then he would be ecstatic when his brother came back.
Right. He would have cut the calf.
Right. He would have been the one, right? Throwing the party. But instead, he's kind of sitting there and he's saying, I'm okay.
Where's my calf?
Yeah. Where's my stuff?
Yeah. I want a ring.
He doesn't have the Father's heart. He doesn't have a heart that is in tune with what really translates to God's heart.
Right.
Instead, he just kind of is okay with where he's at, as long as whenever, I'm good with what I have, but nobody better take anything away from me.
Right.
Right? Where the Father shows up and he's like, give him everything.
Yep.
So it again, like you just said, it's easy for us to get into this place where we fall for the enemy's trap of like, we need more, we got to have more, we got to want more, or to just be like, what I got's good.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else.
Right. So one takeaway is, can you evaluate yourself honestly? Like, you need to look at your life and be like, where am I?
Yeah.
And am I drifting from God? It's kind of like if you're on a boat.
Yep.
And let's say God is north.
Yes.
And the current is pushing you south.
Yep.
And you're in a boat. And if you're not moving towards God, you're drifting slowly to the south. You're moving away from God. If you're not for God, you're against him.
Yes.
And so that's what I said earlier, is that the devil uses comfortableness.
Yeah.
And so what's more comfortable? Is drifting more comfortable, or is putting in the work and effort towards God harder?
Yeah.
Like, you need to evaluate yourself and be honest.
Yeah. And at face value, we would probably say, oh man, it's just easier to drift.
Yeah.
But it's not, because most people aren't drifting.
Right.
Most people are just chasing after the wrong thing. Like if God is north, they might be drifting south, but they're probably like paddling
pushing east or west.
Yeah, they're like paddling like southeast.
Right.
You know what I
They're
mean?
chasing after nothing.
They're chasing after money. They're chasing after sex. They're chasing after notoriety. They're chasing after power. They're chasing after six figures.
Yep.
2.5 kids and a house in Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. The American dream.
Yeah. And so I like to say it this way: choose your hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you going to pick the hard that is, it's hard to chase after the things of this world. It's really hard to do that, and choose that hard, which is ultimately going to lead you nowhere, because in the end, you can't take any of it with you.
Right.
Or are you going to choose the hard of leaning in and becoming like the Father and chasing after the Father's heart that will carry from now on to eternity?
Right. And God's going to bless you if you chase after him, right?
Yeah, I believe firmly in the blessings of God, that part of it is just, we talked about like consequences, how sometimes, like if you go do heroin, you're going to get addicted,
Exactly.
Like the opposite is true, that when you do good things, like good things happen as well. Like
right.
the Bible says that if you want to make a tree good, if you want a tree to bear good fruit, make the tree good, right? So a good tree bears good fruit, right? So when in our lives, whenever we are chasing after God, like his blessings flow, you're put in a position to be able to grow and thrive and receive the blessings of God. The blessings of God are really the best way we can describe it is the fruit of the Spirit, right? In Galatians 5:22 and 23 it says, for the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
Nailed it.
I don't know anybody who needs less of those things.
Right. Exactly.
Right. For me, I believe that God provides supernaturally for us, even in material ways.
Right.
I could tell you guys stories on stories about ways that I've seen God provide things, not just that my wife and I need, but things that we want.
Right.
Because God's good. That's the whole point of this story, by the way, is that we have a God and a Father who's good and who loves us and who cares for us. And there's nothing that we can do that's going to keep us from being able to come home.
Right. Can I say this? I think you need a combination of both brothers.
Yeah.
So one obviously ran away and came back.
Yep.
The other one never left and wasn't grateful.
Yep.
One of them, the one that ran away, was humbled.
Yep.
The one that stayed was never humbled, but he stayed there and worked.
Yep.
So I think they both had qualities that we need to combine.
Yep.
We need to humble ourselves.
Yep.
And we need to receive God's blessing, but then work after it. We can't just sit there and accept the blessing and then drift away slowly.
Yes, absolutely.
So you got to absolutely put in the work.
Yeah.
If you really want to receive the true gift that God has for you.
Yeah, that's, like one of the things that's like a hot topic in culture right now is people talk about locking in, right? Lock in at the gym.
I got that dog in me.
Yeah, dude. So, but like, what if we as individuals and as like a group, what if we as young people just locked in with God? What if we locked in with like following the heart of God?
Mm-hmm.
What could that do, not just for ourselves, but what would that do for us culturally speaking if young people really just decided that, man, we're going to go after God with everything that we got?
Yeah. The world would be dramatically different.
It would. Because again, the things that would come out of us are the love, joy, peace, patience, and on. Those things in and of themselves, if we all had more of them, would transform the culture around us.
It's good.
Like if you were a more peaceful person, or let's not even say a more peaceful. What if you were a less anxious person?
Yep.
What would that do if people approached you and what they heard from you was not the voice of anxiety, but instead was the voice of calm peace? In the presence of God.
Right.
Like, what would that do?
Yeah.
That would radically change the world.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we can start wrapping it up. Maybe put some key points out there. Maybe some good takeaways.
Yeah. So I think that the first thing you already hit on this is like, look at where are you at?
Right.
In this text. Not don't read it and be like,
don't put yourself directly into the story.
We don't read the Bible and we say I'm this character and I'm that character. But what we do is we look at the story and we can say God is describing archetype.
Yeah,
an archetype here.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I see it, there's three main archetypes, right? There's the prodigal running.
Yep.
Running from God. So some of you are listening to this and you're like, I've been running from God. The thing that I would tell you to do is stop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean that sarcastically, like stop doing what you're doing. But what I mean is like evaluate what your next decision is, what your next action is.
Is your life honoring God?
Yeah. Is it honoring God? Is what you're going to do going to take you closer to him or farther away from him?
Are you paddling or drifting?
The second person is the one drifting. It's the brother who is like, hey, you know what? I have been doing the right things. I've been saying the right things. And really they're just complacent.
Yeah. Where's your heart at?
Yeah. Are you just complacent about it all? Or is your heart really toward God?
Mm-hmm.
And the third is back to the first brother. Yeah. It's the one who is running home. Will you run after God? Yep. Will you run after his heart? I pray that everybody listening to this would have a wake-up call in their life where they would just run after him.
Yeah, come on. We all need that, man.
Yeah.
Put in the work, chase after God. You know what you have to do. He's willing to accept you. I know we already talked about it, but he'll take you as you are.
Yeah.
Don't think you're too far from God or that you don't need God at all.
Yeah.
Because he wants you and he's waiting for you patiently.
That's right. And I want to encourage you that one of the best ways that you can lock in with God and really chase after him is to get in community with other people who are going to push you toward the things of God. And if you don't have community like that, we want to invite you to be part of our community. We have a group chat on the platform GroupMe. If you would like to get a link sent to your phone to jump on the chat with us, all you got to do is text BCYA to 315-444-2100 and we'll shoot you a link directly. You can hop in the chat and ask questions, get encouragement. I know we post like devotionals and stuff in there regularly. And it's just a safe place to have real community with real people.
Yeah.
So,
and we have an event coming up too.
Yeah. So if you're watching this before or watching or listening to this before July 30th, 2025, we're having our kickoff for young adults. It's happening here at Believers Chapel. Address is 7912 Thompson Road in Cicero, New York. It's going to be happening at 6 p.m. And honestly, it's just going to be a really chill time for you to make some new relationships, to build friendships, and to get to know other people who are also on this journey of faith.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Help us build community, man.
Yeah. Become a part of it. We invite you. And if you're listening and you're not anywhere near us, get involved with a church who worships Jesus, believes the Bible, and will encourage you. I know that there are so many thousands of really great churches here in America and beyond that would absolutely love to have you.
Yep. And I encourage you to read the rest of this book, the book of Luke. And then, especially if you've never read the Bible before, it's a great place to start. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Yeah.
Start it there.
Absolutely. So again, if you want to read about the prodigal son, you can do that in Luke chapter 15. I would highly recommend it and really evaluate where you're at.
Yep.
We pray that you would be encouraged by this, and we want to be a place where you get life poured into you.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks, guys.